Make sure. Is it counting up? All right. All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is YouTube. It's Pastor Dowell, and this is Elder Doug. And well, we just started a conversation, then I stopped it immediately. And the reason why I stopped it is because it's a conversation that you need to be informed about. We're talking about the Supreme Court alleged case. It's not even really a case, to tell you the truth. So myself and Elder Doug is going to interject some thoughts here and hopefully try to, as much as we can, educate you, the people, on what's going on in our country. Because the country that we live in now is basically one of these communist banana republics, because we're not functioning in a country with a world that actually has a rule of law and a system that is supposed to be allegedly governed by the people. But we have an actual takeover right here. We have a country that's taken up on itself, where people have decided that they're going to overstep the bounds and overstep the laws that are already established. So my question this morning was, and I made to Elder Doug, I said, Elder, I said, now, correct me if I'm wrong. The Supreme Court, they're not there to pass laws. They're there to kind of give an opinion on what the law should be. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir. That's what it is. In fact, the Supreme Court has never been there. It was never developed to make laws. That was the part of the executive branch. That's why we have the representatives. That's why we have Congress. But clearly you can see that the today's Supreme Court has taken upon themselves to not only hear matters, but actually rule, and out of the rulings make laws, which that's never been their job or their focus.
So that brings us to the obvious case in point is at hand.
Yeah.
Kim Davis, I believe that's her name, the lady that's
Kentucky clerk.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Yeah.
The Kentucky clerk. I believe, my personal opinion, and I could be wrong based on what I understand about the laws of this land, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, the way things run. According to my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that she is being detained unlawfully without due process.
Yes, sir. Pretty much that's what it is. She was found to be in contempt of court for not heeding or not being in obedience to the Supreme Court's ruling. And because she is a state elected official, she falls under the federal guidelines. And that was one of the reasons they found her in contempt of court. But it all stemmed out of this phony ruling that's out there now.
Now, okay, because she's a state representative, she falls under the federal guidelines. Now, let me see. When she swore an oath.
She did swear an oath.
She swore an oath.
Public official.
Okay, she's a public official of the state, though. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, since she swore an oath, a public oath to the, and she's a state official, that means that her oath that she swore to, then she swore to the Constitution of Kentucky.
She did, sure. Yes,
All right,
sir.
and not the actual federal government itself.
Yeah, that's good clarity. That is true.
I mean, I'm asking because, you know what I mean?
That's right.
I want to try to get some understanding. I mean, I know you're not an expert just like I'm not, but, you know, dialogue, healthy dialogue actually brings about, hopefully an expected end to get us all to think, or at least get us to all to start think, because, I mean, the sole reason why that she can't be fired is because she is an elected official.
That's right. Yeah, she's an elected official.
She has to be impeached.
Yeah.
Is that right? Which is a long process.
This is a long process.
So right now she's being illegally and unlawfully detained by an opinion that is not law. Just because the people, the will of the people, we the people, did not give the Supreme Court the right to establish law. That's the reason why we have quote-unquote lawmakers.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's absolutely correct. And again, we see another, you know, exercise in who's going to make what law when they want to make a law. Look at our presidents lately. You know, how many times have we seen in the past when we've gone to these unjust wars, and that they actually use the Congress like they're supposed to according to the Constitution, who are supposed to declare war, and the president's went right beyond with an executive order.
You know, that's a very good point, because you know, in the, not that we you can tell we're not submitted to the UN or anything like it, even though we're allegedly in the UN, but there are international laws on the book against wars of aggression.
Yes.
That's all that the United States is doing, because the truth is, we can probably count on my one hand how many actual wars within the last 100 years that has actually been declared by Congress.
Yeah.
And yet and still, we're going out to all these sovereign countries, blowing the hell out of them, killing innocent civilians, calling it collateral damage. And that's why I keep saying over and over again, it's a banana republic. It's rogue in nature. These people are, they expect for us, the little people, to do the law.
Sure.
But yet they get passes from the law. And that goes back to the old statement, power corrupts.
Perfectly. Yeah.
And absolute power corrupts absolutely, because
Yes,
we can actually peg this particular case with this county clerk up there in Kentucky with Hillary Clinton, who's apparently, with all these alleged emails, has actually committed treason.
Yes, sir.
And she gets a buy because she's rich and a politician.
Yeah.
And there's really truly no, in this country, not a lawful due process. Matter of fact, this woman, again, I still say, you know, it's amazing. And, you know, what can we do about something like that? Do you have anything interjecting about what I said thus far?
I was just thinking about the fact, because we have a trickle-down effect. It starts right from the top with the president. We have a Supreme Court that doesn't exercise anything that has to do with their office at all. They've gone beyond the bounds. And then, as you were speaking, I was thinking about law enforcement. Well, what kind of example do they have? So if everybody else is rogue, what's to say that they have to sit there on the plumb line also? So that may be another example, another reason why that they've taken matters into their own hands, because they haven't got nothing solid in front of them to dictate that it should be done this way. I mean, everything is like the Pandora's box is open, and we're in, like, you know, he said, it's banana republic.
You know, it's obvious that a civil war is coming.
Yep.
A revolution is coming. People hate that. They hate to hear it, but there's never been a revolution, a true revolution, without bloodshed.
Yes.
And we have so much injustices that are going on in this country that the will of the people is being forced. Because those of us who are, we're students of the scripture, mostly, of the law, the Torah.
Yes.
We're not too much, I mean, we know about the world that we live in as citizens and Americans. I mean, it's sad to say, but here we are in this country. It's supposed to be the land of the free and the home of the brave. And they tell us we're not communists, but yet we jail more people than communist China.
Yeah, and that's something.
I mean, it's just nonsensical. And then as soon as they make a prison down there in Georgia, the first thing they do is they start convicting people left and right just to fill the prison, because it's on the stock market.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And, you know, you got to take care of the people who have actually have the businesses, because they're the ones who are allegedly paying taxes to help keep the state afloat. But it's sad, because what about these law enforcement officials, these police officers, these sheriffs, these people in government jobs and stuff? I mean, you know that these people have got to know the law.
Yep, yeah, they got to know the law. I mean,
You
if
understand
they're
what I mean?
representing the law, they better know.
They
the
got
law.
it. At least they got to, or either they're doing like, I always go back to Braveheart. They're probably turning a blind eye because the king is ruling and he's trumping the law, and this is exactly what he said, and this is the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
And because I get a paycheck, and because I get security in this government official or this government office, and I get to rule over these people, I'm not going to rock the boat, so to speak. So where are the patriots at? They're supposed to be in the law enforcement, because, you know, when we get out here and we start bringing this kind of attention to the general public as common so-called allegedly citizens here, and it to the powers that be, it's constituting to them that we're some type of rebels, and they wouldn't definitely deem us as patriots.
No, sir.
They wouldn't deem us as patriots. But the truth is, they are our public servants.
Yeah.
And yet, we can see clearly how everything has done changed.
Yes, sir.
Instead of having a smaller government that everybody keeps talking about, the government keeps getting bigger.
It's bigger and
And it
bigger.
keeps on enlarging. And the more the government enlarges, the more our civil liberties erode.
Yep.
And that's the reason why I will say this. I'm going to skip thought here for a second. I've noticed the posture. in these gun-free zones, these cities like Chicago and New York and New Jersey, you saw exactly what happened during Occupy Wall Street.
Yes, sir.
And how that these people were just literally molested.
Yeah.
Literally, women molested and beaten and dragged and drugged. And again, it's not because the people are afraid of the police. People are actually more afraid of what the state is going to do. Who these people have a uniform on, because these people are not afraid of human beings.
No, sir.
But what's amazing to me is that you look at how these people over here in the places where citizens in the state cannot carry guns, and then you go to Texas and Arizona and you see the same protest taking place, and you see these people walk around with AR-15s, Glocks, shotguns, peacefully protesting. You notice that there's a total different posture on the police officers as it is in those big cities.
Yes, sir.
There ain't nobody trying to cross lines. Everybody's honoring each other. Nobody's disrespecting each other, and everybody is exercising restraint all of a sudden.
Absolutely. No, you're telling it right. Amazing.
This woman, and apparently what they're going to do, they're going to detain her. They say they're going to detain her until she complies. You understand that kind of talk?
To an unjust, non-existent law.
That's like Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, basically what it is too.
I mean, you see, this is the reason why that's why civil unrest is already here and it's coming even faster. Because they see that we're in a world without rule of law, and the laws they're supposed to apply to everybody from the top to the bottom only applies to us peasants and poor folks.
That's right.
And the eradicated middle class, and it doesn't apply to the rich.
Don't, no.
It's a sad situation. So, what do you see the country going if it continues to keep going this way? I mean, what do you see?
That's exactly what you described. There can't help to be. You're already seeing indications of it popping up all over. You know, people killing each other. You have the example of this black man killing this police officer the other day at the gas pumps. In fact, I read something the other day that murder has increased more dramatically this year than it has the last 10 years. And so people are getting sick and tired of this stuff. That's all they can do when they have nothing left and nothing left to lose. That's all they can do is just fight back in order to survive. I mean, you can forget the fears that were commonly placed on them because you have people that are supposed to be protecting them. They've already proven that they can't be protected, so they have to take matters into their own hands.
You know, the Bible says, surely oppression will make a wise man mad.
Yeah.
And that's what we see happening right now, because if you notice with the report over in Virginia, the police officers that I already told us a year or so in advance, I'm going to tell y'all what you're getting ready to see. Y'all finna start watching cops die on the streets. And it's taking place. It is. And what's happening is when these people, given the economic sickness that we have in this particular country, the economy is just on life support. But when there's no longer any hope, there's no jobs, the people are not able to support themselves and live a life of dignity, these people are not caring. They're actually going out and taking out people. Anything that anybody has to do with the system, they're going and killing them and then turning the gun on themselves and killing themselves.
Yes. Yeah.
And then what do you have? A bunch of dead people, all of it incited by the United States federal government. Every bit of it.
Yeah.
And then they want to point the fingers on us because we don't have an independent news source. There's no such thing as freedom of press. The press that is out there in the mainstream does not represent our best interest, the people's interest in this world. All they use us for is a bunch of slaves to be able to continue to keep producing for them while they continue to keep enriching themselves and getting fat over and over and over again. So we don't have a press. The only press that is literally free is the press that is independent, that is constantly marginalized by the mainstream.
Yeah, constantly.
And so these people, in my own humble opinion, all the elected officials, or let me say the selected officials, ain't nobody elected in this country, they selected. All of them, every single one of them are sold out cronies for so-called capitalism. They're bought out, every single one of them, and they have sold this country down the tube. And there's no honor and there's no respect whatsoever in them whatsoever at all. And I hate to say it, but it's coming. We cannot avoid it. And of course, what I say to people out there, just prepare yourself. Just get yourself ready for war. I mean, a whole lot. I look at history over 200 years ago. You know, people were willing to go to war and die for less than what's going on today.
Yes, sir.
And today, through the modification of foods, vaccines, everything is they're creating a docile people, a people that doesn't have any passion. And now they have used psychology so much that they demonize folks like us,
yes, sir,
who actually have a mind to think.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a sad world that we live in. Bro, Shane, you got anything to say on any of this? None at all? I just wanted to bring this up because I think that, you know, I think that something really, truly needs to be done about this woman being unlawfully detained, whether the homosexuals agree with it or not.
Mm-hmm.
She is literally being unlawfully detained without due process in this country.
Yes, sir.
I mean, have they suspended habeas corpus? Have they suspended all of it? I mean, is there no more law except that they make when they go about it every single day?
Yes, sir. Maybe this is the first publicly held case of rendition where people actually know what's going on.
Well, I mean, the people, again, why ain't they rising up there in Kentucky? You know what I mean? Why aren't they rising up? And, you know, again, mainstream news media says with those people, remember that guy got killed in Baltimore, right?
Yes.
And of course, they're tearing up Baltimore left and right. And they still going to, Freddie Gray, they still going to be tearing it up. And you know what they're doing now? Now, they're going to move the actual case of Freddie Gray outside of Baltimore.
Isn't that something?
Now, how can you do that when you're supposed to be judged by your peers? You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be judged by your peers, so now you're just going to move it outside of the scope of the people. And the reason why they're doing it, whether people like it or not, because Baltimore is like 98% black.
Yes, sir.
I know it's over 90%. Yeah. And they're not going to sit up and have a trial like that because these people, no matter what tactics these lawyers use, they ain't going to buy it, and they know that.
Yes, sir.
But they're going to tear up Baltimore again. They flat out going to tear it up again, and they're going to continue to keep tearing it up because it's amazing. When they wanted to get their voice heard and they try to do things which the mainstream news media is not mentioned the right way.
Yes, sir.
Peacefully protesting and making petitions, you know, for their redress and grievance and everything that they had going on. When they did it the right way, their voices wasn't being heard.
Nothing.
The powers that be, who set up in their seal homes, the governors, all them, didn't want to hear them. Had nothing to do with it. But then when they started burning down the damn city and tearing up everything, now all of a sudden we want to come to the table. Yeah. Now all of a sudden the president, the puppet master, comes comes from behind the curtain, so to speak. And now all of a sudden he wants to try to go ahead and lead the country and tell everybody what they need to be doing. Yes, when this booger is nothing but a war criminal.
Yeah.
How can Eric Holder gonna sit up there and tell anybody what they need to do? Have we forgotten Fast and Furious? I ain't forgot it. How are they gonna do? You see, this again. People listen to us out here. The world is trying to demonize folks like us, and all we want to do is live a quiet, peaceable, set apart life. We literally mind our own business. We don't go looking for trouble, but trouble finds us. Now, when trouble finds us, you're going to find trouble right back. I promise you that. But that's the world we live in. And now today, you know, I was thinking the other day when I was out, of course, you know, we live in a rural area up here. Yeah. And I was thinking, you can tell, and I support these people's right. I know they may not believe it, but I support these people's right to fly what they call the Confederate flag.
Sure.
But there are 4 flags in the Confederacy, and none of them look like that. No, they took a piece of it, and then they made one big flag out of it. And I mean, because I went and looked at the history of it, but I support that right. But you know, it's amazing because now the American flag has done come down, which is for my people a symbol of oppression.
Sure.
But they have got Confederate flags everywhere. But again, the only people that are flying the Confederate flags is the people that are poor.
Yeah.
You ought to see these trucks that they're on.
That's a good point.
And the people that live in trailer parks.
Yeah.
The poor people. You don't see these folks out here with these nice fancy homes with no Confederate flag up.
No, sir.
You don't see these people down in Brentwood, down in Franklin County, having Confederate flags flying all over the place. You see, it's mind manipulation. It's mind manipulation. And I'm telling you, all you black folks out there, people of hue and different colors and stuff, you're fools if you sit up here and you fall for this racism crap. I mean, you just little flat out fools. And by the way, while I'm making this video, I know that Jedi Yamaliki, or whatever his name is, what's his name?
That's close enough.
Jedi Yamaliki, or whatever his name is, he made a video about me and so-called Edomites.
Sure.
You know, I mean, we're touching on a lot of things here, and I can't never get nobody to take. I actually challenge him to an open debate on Edom. I want to know who Edom is. I mean, I like to have an open. I can be civil.
Sure.
I can be civil. I like to have an open civil debate with him on who is Edom.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people say that Esau is the white man. Well, I don't believe that Esau is only the white man.
Yes, sir.
No, how in the hell can he start black and then end up white?
Yeah, exactly.
That's just like selling Islam over in Israel. You know what I mean? Nasser and them told him, we can't accept you as Israel. How in the world can you leave black and come back white? Man, see, it's all racism. And you have to understand the spirit behind it. And people who don't have the spirit of truth, you're not going to do nothing with them anyway. You've seen the comments on this video.
You ain't going to do anything.
What do you think is going on with the minds of people like this that don't have the ability to compute and calculate?
I think you said it perfectly. I think it's the environment we live in. I think it's all the doctrine that they've ingested all their lives. I think it's the GMO foods. I think it's the vaccinations. It's not going to, it's just too much there.
You remember me telling y'all, and this is the last thing, I can go on points all day long. You remember me telling y'all that we're going to end up going into Syria?
Yeah.
And I also talked about how Saudi Arabia, you know, y'all bunch of fools for sitting at the table. Every country has ever sit at the table, the United States of America, you got your neck chopped off. Now, you follow me? That's going to take place. But, I mean, everybody's making, let me tell you this. We're going into Syria, and I'm going to tell you again, everybody keep your eyes on the Congo, because everything that's going on in this world is just a prelude to what's coming in our backyard. It's coming in our backyard. But anyway, hey, I appreciate the talk this morning, Elder Doug. Hopefully that we've done something to put some type of sober defibrillator on the minds of the people. I mean, because all we're going to do is work and get dirty today. I mean, that's pretty much what we're going to do.
That's all we're going to do.
But everybody, powers that be, ain't stupid. Everybody ain't dumb, unlike y'all may think that people are. Last thing, it seems like old Eric Lovely done turned on me.
Yeah, that's what I hear. That's what I hear. I don't know that for certain, but that's what it looks like.
Well, we're gonna find out. We're gonna see, see what it is, see what his beef is. But anyway, I think we had a pretty good dialogue here this morning. But I still say they're holding that woman without due process. They're illegally detaining her. Man, I feel like Edward Long Saints is still ruling, brother.
Yeah.
I really, truly do. We a mess today. All right. Well, anyway, with that said, hey, we appreciate y'all allowing us your ear and giving us time here to hear these country boys out here give our opinion. I mean, after all, I will end on the statement, a country boy can survive. Shalom.
Shalom.